Hey guys, Bayden here, Bayden Redshaw, and I'm here to review UFC 200. Now, this event literally just finished, and I'm doing this review live on Google Hangouts through my YouTube account, Bades1. But I thought I'd review it because I thought, it'd be a good way for me to be able to get more views. Not only just that, but it would be a good way for me to, because I like doing reviews. I've done a shit ton of reviews over the years, and I wanted to talk about this. And yeah, UFC 200 was a bit of a mixed bag. Okay, so when I went into watching the event, I thought, okay, we're in for a big day, okay, and with the fight pass prelims, I thought, okay, well, these are probably going to be the more disappointing ones of the few, but they weren't. They were actually really good, and they, really entertained the freaking hell out of me and my brother when we were watching the event, and we were like, wow, these are really impressive guys in the fight pass prelims. Sage Northcutt, he had a really good fight, a really, really good fight. I really can't say enough how great the fight pass prelims were, and they were probably some of the most entertaining bits of UFC 200. Now, the problem with UFC 200 is, it's supposed to be built up to be the biggest event of all of UFC history, and it really was built up to be like that. And it had so much going for it. There was so much momentum, so many big names coming to be in this, and this heated rivalry for this main event with Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier, and they're about to face off because this fight had been put off for so long, guys, and it was such a tragedy just to be a fan of MMA, sitting back waiting to watch this fight that had been building up for so long, and then at the last minute, about 2 days before, we get told that Jon Jones had illegal substances in his bloodstream. I don't know, maybe it was supplements. I talked with Mickey Gall just a couple of days ago. No, it's just yesterday, sorry. I spoke with Mickey Gall yesterday, and it's on my channel. You can check the interview out. I did an interview with Mickey Gall, the opponent of CM Punk, coming up at 203. And he said, these supplements that they're giving the fighters, they have all kinds of stuff in these supplements. Now, I'm not going to go on and on because I know you guys are wanting to hear about the actual event itself. You're not wanting to hear about this. But I feel that, UFC 200 was a bit watered down when Jones and Cormier got called off. And I'm pretty sure many of you would feel that way yourself, because you're building up to something so big like that, and then at the last minute you're like, oh, okay, sorry, we can't do it now because this happened. We're going to throw in a last-minute replacement, and it's just like, And the fight ended up blowing. It absolutely sucked. It was Cormier versus fucking Silva, and Cormier's just pinning Silva down for the whole fucking time, just throwing these little fucking and elbows the whole time. He's just fucking laying and praying on the guy. And it's just like, okay, then, well, there you go. There's your big fucking fight gone. There's the supposedly greatest of all time, fucking Silva, lying down, getting dominated by Cormier. And it sucked. It really sucked. And when I went into the event, when I watched this press conference, Dana had thrown together a last-minute kind of press conference, and he said, well, now Mark Hunt and Lesnar's going to be the main event. And then, we get told that at the press conference. And then at the last minute, when they didn't even really properly announce it, it's now Tate versus Nunez. And I'll get into that. And I thought, oh, fuck, really? They're now at the last minute saying that Tate and Nunez is going to main event UFC 200. You're telling me that the biggest event of all fucking time, 200, is supposed to be main evented by Misha Tate and Amanda fucking Nunez. I was me personally, I was pissed off because these guys, not these guys, sorry, these girls, Misha Tate obviously hasn't had the best career. Amanda Nunez, you know, I don't know much about Amanda Nunez. Sorry, I don't. I know that she's pretty fucking brutal, but she's not a Ronda Rousey or a Holly Holm. She's not a woman that's been built up by the company for so long, and it kind of didn't feel as big for me. So anyway, I'm just going to get into some not matches, some fights, some bouts here. Northcutt fight was awesome. You know, that was pretty cool. Northcutt looked like he was dealing with some real big pressure. Was, you know, a few submission holds got locked in there, and it looked like it was about to be over for him, but it wasn't, obviously, and he overcome it. And yeah, it was very impressive to see him overcome that. But I'm going to move on. I'm going to get into the main card, actually. The prelims were all right. You know, there's some good fights, the prelims. Really, there's nothing too much that sticks out in my head like, oh, yeah, this is really, you know, really awesome shit or anything like that. The main card, I'd say that the exclusive fight past prelims were probably the best ones because they're in a row. They're all just 1 round knockouts and submissions and shit. You know, the main card felt a bit watered down because, you know, you start off with Velasquez going up against Brown. Yeah, good fight. It was cool. Good fight, definitely good. And Velasquez was impressive with that. But then you get into Aldo and fucking Edgar, and Edgar's not doing shit. Like the whole fight, Edgar didn't do anything. And a lot of people, you know, you find that there's a lot of these pages on Facebook, and they have a lot of these groups, and they say, oh, Edgar's so pissed off. Edgar's really hungry for his belt. Edgar this, Edgar that. Edgar's so pissed off. And I'm just sitting here thinking, where's this pissed off Edgar that everyone builds up? That guy wasn't there. This dude was holding back, and he was missing. You know, there's some times where he was holding back a bit, and then he was missing every single shot. And it's like, oh, fuck, you know. Edgar's not landing anything. And the whole time, Jose is countering, running back, you know, hitting him, running back, landing a few knees, a few surprise knees every here and there. And that's what the fight was. And then, you know, you go to the decision. And I knew it was going to go to a decision. I thought if those knees of Aldo wasn't going to end Edgar, it was going to go to a decision. And it did. It went to a decision, and Aldo won. I'm happy because I wanted Aldo to win. I wanted Aldo to be able to go in and have his shot, his rematch with McGregor, because that wasn't a fight with McGregor. That was a tragedy, you know. And I was going for McGregor in that because I had a lot of people hating on me at the time, like, oh, you know, why are you going for McGregor? You know, you get people on these Facebook groups going, oh, fucking, you know, McGregor dick rider and shit. It's just like, everyone was praising Aldo, but I was like, you know what? I really feel that there's something not right with Aldo, and he's going to lose this. And Aldo did. You know, Aldo went into that fight. You can see in the entrance where Aldo's walking out. He's looking down at the ground most of the time. He can't even look McGregor in the eyes. And then when they start to fight, well, it wasn't really a fight. You know, Aldo comes in, that one punch, and he's down. And that's it. That's over. You know, so that's what happened. And so basically, I kind of was like, oh, I'm a bit worried here. I don't want Aldo to go down within the first few seconds again. I'd really love for Aldo to get his shots. Then at least Conor and Aldo can have a bit of a fight, and that it's not just, you know, some 13-second fucking knockout. You know, because I wanted to see a war by them both. So I was happy that Aldo walked out with the win. So that's put to rest that whole Edgar thing. And I don't know what's going to go on with Edgar now. I don't know what the fuck he's going to do, what they're going to be doing with him. I'm assuming he's going to have to regroup and try and build himself back up again, maybe stack up one or maybe a few more wins before he can get a shot at the belt. But that dude's in for a bit of a long haul, I think. Unless he just goes back and defends his own belt, which he probably should do. So I think that's what he should do. Anyway, getting on to the next. After Aldo and Edgar, we have Cormier and Silva. And like I said, guys, I've already said this earlier in this review, the whole fight was just DC taking down Silva, elbowing, just punching, just laying on him and preying on him. That's what it was. And there was a funny moment in the fight where I was laughing my head off because this is nearing the end of the fight. The fans start to boo the fuck out of Cormier because they stand the fight up and they're fighting for a bit, but Cormier gets a bit freaked out and he takes down Silva, and the fans let out this roaring, loudest boo I've ever fucking heard in my life. And I'm laughing my head off. I'm just sitting there like, oh my gosh. If DC, you could obviously see that DC was freaked out during the fight. You know, he didn't want to lose. So he had to do what he had to do to win. And obviously he was a bigger dude. He could take Silva down, and that's what he did. It's like playing a video game with someone. If you're facing someone and they spam a particular button and you can't get out of it, that's what it was like. It's like he was just spamming Silva with takedowns and, you know, laying and praying. But on to the next. After that, we had freaking Hunt versus Lesnar, the real main event. I feel it should have been. You know, Dana said, "Well, this is the main event," and then he just replaced it at last minute. It's just like, oh fuck. But you know, the event was already in for a bit of a tough spot with being in the position that they were in, because they just were in a real tough position because a lot of bullshit happened before the event, and that's kind of fucked them over. So yeah, Hunt Lesnar. Oh man, for the first round, Hunt and Lesnar were just not doing anything. They were doing this a lot, like, you know, when do I go for something? That was most of round one. They got a few shots in, both men, but to be honest, it looked like Lesnar won round one. You get to round two, Lesnar gets a takedown on Hunt, starts laying a few heavy shots on him, does a few more. Hunt gets out of it, you know. Basically that's what it was. Hunt wasn't landing much. He landed a few things, but not much at all. Looked like Lesnar had won that again. Get to round three. You know, Hunt's trying to move in and do a bit of a striking battle, but Lesnar's just wanting to take down. You know, the whole time, the whole fight, Lesnar's just trying to take it down. You can see he's constantly trying to take down Mark Hunt. And it got predictable because you're looking at Lesnar and you're like, he's going to go for the takedown now. He's going to go for it now. He's going to go for it now, because that's all he ever did. That's all he wanted to do, was just go for that takedown. And that's kind of what it was. It was the DC fight repeated. It was Lesnar spamming with a takedown and doing what he does best, which is play mashed fucking potato with your head, and he's just landing these hammer fists and these elbows and these strikes like that. And, that's what he's doing. And, he did that for round 3. He fucked up Mark Hunt's head pretty bad. He's doing it just on the top of his head. And I was just sitting there like, fucking hell, he's playing mashed potato with Mark Hunt's head. He's going to wake up in the morning and his head is going to have the massivest egg on it. And he's just going to be fucked, man. His head's probably going to be, pounding by the time he wakes up in the morning. But, Brock Lesnar dominated him. And Brock Lesnar won. He got, got the decision. And then that was that, get to the main event next, which is Miesha Tate versus Amanda Nunez. And that was surprising. I went into that thinking, oh, fuck, and I'm still not happy with it. I'm still not happy with the fact that they main evented the show. But it was a good way to end it because it was probably one of the most bloodiest and brutal endings. Miesha Tate, really, she got fucked up. Amanda Nunez really fucked her up. And she was bleeding. It looked like she'd broken her nose. I actually think she has broken her nose personally because I've seen nose breaks before in person. I've seen them on TV, and they're pretty nasty. That looked pretty nasty. It looked like she'd broken her nose. We might hear about that from doctors soon. I don't know. But I think her nose has been broken, to be honest. But yeah, I think now really what they need to do is they need to set up some big fight. They need to set up either Nunez versus Holm or Nunez versus Rousey. I think Miesha Tate needs to kind of take a step back, focus on herself. I feel that the Holly Holm fight was a bit of a fluke. I don't feel like Miesha Tate should have the belt right now. I feel like Holm should have actually won that fight. I feel that some reason Holm wasn't performing at her best like she should have been. And, it ended up with a fluke victory and, she fucked up. She made a mistake and Tate got the belt, And this is what happens, Nunez fucks her up. So ever since Ronda Rousey's lost the belt, the belt's played a bit of hot potato between the women because this is going from one girl to the next. And that's what it has been so far. So, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Nunez faced off with Rousey or Holm and the belt went to another chick. I really wouldn't be. But I feel like Nunez she's pretty tough. Those shots really did fuck up Miesha Tate, and she's got a nasty face now after it. So yeah, it was a pretty brutal, savage way to end the show. It was a good way to end the show. And not even Lesnar could make Hunt bleed like that. So yeah, it was pretty cool. It was good. I was kind of worrying that it would be a bit of a wrestle fuck fest where Miesha Tate would just take Nunez down and just hold her down for 5 rounds and just bore the absolute shit out of me, and to the point where either one of them gets a submission in or they just go to decision. But luckily they didn't. One of them got knocked the fuck out, and that was Miesha Tate. But anyway, guys, that's my review of UFC 200. If you did enjoy this video and you want to see more of these videos, then go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's called Bayden 1, but I'm thinking of changing it soon to the Bayden Zone because I've started a brand new podcast talk show with just having these amazing special guests come on. I'll tell you about it in a sec. I've had some really great guests so far. I've had MMA fighter Dada 5000. He got famous from some backyard fights, and he was the last ever man to face off with Kimbo Slice in Bellator. Sadly, Kimbo died a few months ago, and I spoke to Dada recently. I spoke to him 3 weeks ago. about the death of, Kimbo Slice that happened last month. And, it was a great interview. We had a good podcast, good tell-all. He talked to me for about 56 minutes. We really got into some good stuff. And then I had John Morrison on episode 2. Sorry, guys, I'm a bit vague. I just went through a fucking hours of a main event. Now I'm broadcasting live, talking about it. What?
6 hours.
I just said hours. It started at like 6:30. So yeah.
I did it 12:30.
Yeah. And it's 1:40 now. But yeah. Yeah, did a great episode with John Morrison. After that, we had episode 3, which was just yesterday, and that was with UFC fighter Mickey Gall. His upcoming fight with CM Punk, which is happening at UFC 203. And, Mickey said on the podcast, is like, you know what, if they flew me out, if they wanted me, I'd fly out tonight, and I'd fucking be ready for tomorrow. I'd fight tomorrow, I'd fight CM Punk tomorrow. And that would have been awesome. I was like, yeah, that'd be fucking awesome. And yeah, we had a great interview. He was a very nice guy, Mickey. And I've got some more individuals coming on the show. We're going to be speaking about a lot of things. I've got the band Shinobi Ninja on next Sunday, which is going to be good. It's next Sunday for me. It's next Saturday for the Americans. So they're going to be on their way to a gig. I'm going to have to be up at like 4 in the morning and speak to them at like 4 in the morning here in Australia on Sunday. And yeah, they're going to be on their way to a gig. They're going to do some awesome shit at, I think it's the Hard Rock Cafe. But yeah, I'll be able to talk to them beforehand, and that'll be great. I've got some other, people I've contacted that I really want interviews with, and they're trying to sort things out. I can drop some names, but I don't want to, I don't want to get people's hopes up and then not deliver. They just keep in mind and take this as a grain of salt. This isn't set in stone yet. This isn't something that has been confirmed or that is actually going to happen, but this is what I'm trying to get to happen. I've tried to get Imagine Dragons, the band. I've been talking to Universal, the company, about getting them. So I've been talking to them. I've just got to wait for the Australia department of Universal to get in contact with me to organise it, because I'm in the Australian territory, of course. So they've got to organise it through them. So, because I was talking to American Universal, so they were like, okay, well, now I'm going to put you through to Australia. So they'll be in touch with you in the next few weeks. So I've been in touch with Universal about Imagine Dragons. I've been talking to the manager of Darren Young. I want to get him on the show sometime. He said he's going to try capitals, letters, brackets, exclamation mark, commas, try to get it sorted this week. So sorry guys, my throat's been a bit shit. So it'd be great if he sorts that out for this week. That's WWE wrestler Darren Young. For you UFC fans, you probably don't know him. Should be pretty cool. I interview like a shit ton of people in a lot of different fields. Acting, wrestling, UFC fighting, MMA, all kinds of shit, boxing, whatever. I'm down for anyone to come on the show, talk about anything. So yeah, I'm trying to get Darren Young. I'm trying to get another Australian star, Todd McKenney. We still need to sort something out there with that. I've reached out to multiple managers of multiple different people about securing different guests, a shit ton of people. I've reached out to Chris Brown's manager. I've reached out to everyone. We'll see. I've done 3 good guests so far. I've done Data. I've done John Morrison. I've done Mickey Gall, and that's a really good, impressive 3 people. A good trilogy of a start for the podcast. But I'm hoping to, because there's an issue with Skype, right? That when I'm doing these interviews, they tend to get a bit laggy, and they tend to, the other person's webcam, or it could be with our internets. But OBS is a very high functioning thing, and you need to have the right settings for it. And if you both don't have the right settings and the right frame rate, you can get a bit of laggy video. So the last 3 episodes, there's been a bit of lag with it, and the guys have, tend to be a bit laggy. So there's that issue. But yeah, I'm hoping to change it to Google Hangouts, because I'd really like to do the interviews live, so the audience can comment and say what they want and kind of be a part of it, and not just freaking sit back and just watch a pre-recorded thing. They can actually get in on the action and speak in the chat box. If they want certain questions, if I run out of questions and I've got questions right, and I've got a certain amount of time I need to interview someone, the fans can write some questions in the comment box, right? And that'd be great. Then we can have that interaction where the viewers are a part of it. They're not just watching, and that's really cool. And I can link that straight to my YouTube channel, and I'll be on a Google Hangout live call, and everyone will be able to see it live. So that'd be awesome. I think I'm getting a better HD quality webcam for that, because if I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to need a better webcam for it. So I'm wanting to change the Bayden's interviews over to live, and I want them to be on Google Hangouts, because they don't really have that issue with frame rate and lag, etc., because it both sides are operating on Google Hangouts settings and how it records things. So you don't really get a laggy thing or any issues like manually set up OBS would. So that's what I'm hoping to do. I'm hoping that everyone will be able to comply with that. But if they can't do Google Hangouts, then we'll have to do Skype. But because a lot of people do audio when they do the interviews. They just do audio, but at least I get a bit of video, and you can actually see who I'm interviewing. That way, you don't get people commenting in the comment section like, "Oh, nah, that's someone doing an impersonation. You haven't got the real person, and you don't have that, that shit going on." So at least I've had, video to show for it. But anyway, I want to do live. I want it to be like that. Yeah, enough about me going on about that anyway. So if you guys want to see those episodes, I've got the UFC Mickey Gall talk. I just did that yesterday. So if you want to go to my channel and check that out, you can. It talks about UFC, talks about John Jones and the, the sudden stoppage of him not being in the 200 event. Talks about a bunch of shit. He even says he could have 200 if he was given the chance. And he talks about how he got the fight with Sampong in the first place. But yeah, I've got the interview with Dada 5000 and John Morrison there too. You can check that out. But I'm done, guys. I've been talking for a while, and check my channel out. I'm hoping to build this up and get some more amazing special guests on the show, speak with me, and do it live. I really want that live thing. So call me that, guys, and I'm hoping to bring you some really great content, because it's going to be amazing. All right, I'll see you all later.